There was a time when Toys R Us was more than a store. It was a dreamland. Rows of action figures, shelves of bikes, mountains of Lego. If you were a kid in the 90s or early 2000s, Toys R Us was the definition of happiness. But what if I told you it didn't have to die? That its downfall wasn't inevitable, and that one single decision could have kept it alive today. This is the story of how the world's biggest toy store lost everything, and how it could have become the Amazon of toys instead of becoming a memory. In the 80s and 90s, Toys R Us ruled the toy world. Over 1,500 stores across the globe. Billions in yearly revenue. Every major toy brand, from Hasbro to Mattel, fought to get their products on those shelves. For kids, walking through the doors was pure excitement. No screens, no online shopping, just endless aisles of wonder. They weren't just selling toys, they were selling memories. But while the magic seemed unstoppable, a storm was quietly building. And it started with one word: internet. The year was 2000. The internet was exploding, and online shopping was the next big thing. Toys R Us wanted in, but instead of building their own online store, they took what seemed like the easy route. They partnered with Amazon. Amazon would run the website and logistics, while Toys R Us supplied the toys. It looked like a perfect match, at first. But in business, whoever controls the data controls the future. Amazon got access to all the customer information, what people searched for, what toys were trending, and what parents bought most. Toys R Us only got the sales, but Amazon got the insight. That's how they unknowingly gave away their biggest advantage. By 2004, things turned sour. Amazon started allowing other toy sellers on its platform. Toys R Us claimed this broke their exclusive deal and took them to court. They eventually won the lawsuit, but by then, the damage was done. Amazon had the customers, the infrastructure, and the momentum. Toys R Us had warehouses full of toys, and nowhere to sell them online. After the lawsuit, they tried to rebuild their online presence. But by then, they were years behind. Their website was slow, clunky, and outdated. Meanwhile, Walmart and Target were perfecting e-commerce. They invested early in tech, delivery, and data analytics. Toys R Us believed nostalgia would protect them. They thought kids would always want to walk through those big doors. But times changed. Kids changed. Shopping changed. And Toys R Us didn't. They kept focusing on in-store experiences while the rest of the world moved online. But their real problem wasn't just innovation, it was money. In 2005, a group of private equity firms bought Toys R Us for over $6 billion. Most of that money was borrowed. They were now buried in over $5 billion of debt. Every year, hundreds of millions had to go toward interest payments instead of innovation. Even if they wanted to compete online, they couldn't afford to. While Amazon and Walmart were spending on technology and logistics, Toys R Us was just trying to stay alive. They weren't just fighting competitors, they were fighting their own debt. So what's the one thing that could have saved them? Building their own e-commerce empire. If, back in 2000, they had used their money and brand power to build their own website, not rely on Amazon, things could have been different. They already had everything Amazon didn't: trust, supplier relationships, and brand loyalty. Imagine if they had created a modern online toy store, buy online, pick up in store, or even a subscription model for parents. They could have merged nostalgia with innovation. Instead, they gave away their online future and never recovered. By 2017, their online sales were tiny compared to competitors. And in 2018, the lights went out for good. For millions of people, that logo wasn't just a brand, it was childhood itself. But business doesn't care about nostalgia. If you don't adapt, you disappear. Toys R Us didn't lose to Amazon because Amazon was unstoppable. They lost because they thought they were. And the second you think you can't lose, that's exactly when you do. Innovation doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't matter how big your brand is, or how loyal your customers are. If you stop evolving, someone else will take your place. Toys R Us could have been the Amazon of toys. Instead, it became a reminder that even giants fall when they stand still. This was the Legacy Report, the story of how Toys R Us lost everything, except the lesson.